016 The Critics and the Quitters. The critics and the quitters are a lively bunch. The critics and the quitters are a damaged bunch. To be fair, critics thrive on being critics like YouTube crime channel producers like being investigators. But that's entertainment. However, the quitters cannot be put in a box, and shouldn't. When Branhamism replaced Christ's emphasis for many, it became its own system, or organism, or culture, or. This does not take away from the sincere balanced ministries that are connected to William Branham, just like they are connected to the top other three: Luther, Wesley, 1906 Pentecostal. These are the four that are the key components of Restoration theology, taught by William Branham. The first three are history that cannot be debated. It is the fourth component that shears to cause the problem. No human wants everything they have ever said for 18 years dissected, scrutinized, analyzed, hypothesized, criticized, compartmentalized, compared, structuralized, scientifically investigated, preached, proven, disproven, debated, constantly demanded to be vindicated and blasted to the world. There are probably more words that could be added, but point made. No wonder some people have run from it as fast as they can. Youth either grasp it, or obey, or get psychologically confused, or just flush it down the toilet of their life journey and move on. Many times it is better to belong than to be lonely or the unwanted oddball. But this is normal for any church or religious movement. The message is no exception. Depending on the pastor one sits under, will depend on the depths of expression when the season of rebuttal arrives. Churches will always be clubs of a sort, or gatherings of fellowship. Birds of a feather need to flock together. That is why there are temples, church buildings, tabernacles. Christianity is no different. There is a great value of that neighborhood or community church where people gather and help each other through life. It is very important socially and mentally, and for the person living Christianity, spiritually. William Branham believed this and lived it. However, he clearly stated the individual must focus on Christ. William Branham often said he was not the best preacher in the world. Everyone has favorites. It's not bad to focus on a leader that is trusted. When a child thinks their daddy knows everything, no one calls that a cult. As the child grows, he begins to learn from others such as school teachers. When the child grows to adulthood, they gain a new relationship with their dad. The more years, the more wisdom and understanding of the true reality about their dad. The ultimate goal is to be best friends, understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses. Critics often can spot the believer that refuses to grow up. Also can spot a minister. Eventually they conclude it's all cult behavior. That's not accurate with even the simplest or most in-depth definitions of a cult. Critics abound. Being critical is in the human spirit. Being critical is a tool. Like any tool, it depends how it is used. Now quitters cannot be put in a box either. They should not quickly be spiritualized as 1 John 2:19 They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. This is the easy one scripture doctrine weapon often misplaced by eliminating Jesus's teaching of seeking out the one lost sheep from the fold of 100. Or the parable of the prodigal. Without overloading the topic, only if someone actually curses Spirit God, calling him a devil, from their heart, are they a castaway. Period. Many who have left the message are scarred, confused, have complexes, are lonely, wrong teachings, are personally wrestling with God, have spiritual scarecrows that are confusing them, and the list continues. Very few trash God completely from their heart and soul. It's a shame when studying William Branham and what he understood his ministry to be, that so many human train wrecks happen and only expand with each generation. There is not any Christian including Martin Luther that could not be scientifically dissected into a fake. That is folly to have as a goal or calling. It's also bad science. To understand why William Branham said something at a specific time in a specific place requires the knowledge of too much data. This knowledge can never be known. A minister will say one thing for one person in a congregation based on where he is at, what is happening in the world, what is happening in the culture at that moment, what is happening in the media at that time, what struggles is that specific church going through at that time, what has been previously said there, what happened in the car on the way to church, who called with a question. And that's just a handful. It is impossible to fairly study 18 years of comments and build a box of consistency. William Branham should never be built into a lamb with no flaws or a heifer without a hair that is blemished. A type of Old Testament requirements for specific offerings. The great value of the church age book is William Branham clearly states what is important and clearly states his belief of his ministry. Critics may not be the funnest folks to be around, but they are useful. Quitters should never be voided unless they clearly curse Elohim, Jehovah, Jesus Christ. J.L.E.